to my channel. My name is Treya, and I'm going to be coming at you guys today with a story time. It is going to be about the worst date I've ever had. I'm subscribed to Jazz Jackson here on YouTube. She did a story time about her worst date ever, and I was cracking up. So I was like, boy, don't I got a story to tell? If you're interested in hearing about my worst date ever, keep watching. So, of course, I can't disclose names and all that kind of stuff. So I'll try to keep it as anonymous as I can. So, it was about 3 years ago. I went on this date. A little bit of backstory. I met the guy online. I guess that's the first strike. I met him online and we chit-chatted online. He seemed pretty cool. We exchanged numbers, texts, talked to each other. We more so text than talk, which I don't like either. I mean, and I know in Jazz video she was saying that she doesn't like that, and I don't either, because I feel like I can't really get to know you like by texting you, like, and we just only mostly text. Like, so many things can get misinterpreted over text message, misunderstood, all of that. So I was just like, but we did talk some, so it was like, okay. We talked for a few months before we actually met up, and I allowed him to pick me up. Now, I lived in an apartment complex, so I had him pick me up, not by my apartment. I'm not like that crazy, but I obviously am crazy enough to let someone pick me up whom I've never hung out with before. So yeah, I guess that's strike two. He said we were going on a date. It was a surprise, and we ended up at his homeboy's kickback. Now, I don't know if a kickback is what I would consider a first date, or even a date at all for that matter, because like, it's a damn kickback. Like, it's so many other people that's going to be there. Like, how can I get to know you on a one-on-one basis if we're at a kickback? But whatever. So we're at this kickback. So far, when me and him arrive, it's only me, him, and his homeboy. So I'm like, it's looking a little sketchy. Like, oh, and then he, of course, kept reassuring me, everybody else is showing up, they're on CP time. Okay, we're dealing with black folk here, so okay. About an hour later, these girls arrived, which I was relieved, because I'm like, thank God I got somebody to talk to, because in the midst of just sitting there, they were playing the video game, they were talking, they were drinking, and at that time, I wasn't much of a drinker. Like, I don't know, at that time, I was just having a real problem with alcohol. It was just like alcohol, like, no matter if I just took a sip, it made me feel bad. So I was just not into alcohol at the time, but that's not the case now, So they're drinking, I'm not, and they're playing the game, and the girls arrive. We're, talking or whatever. They seem pretty cool, so I was like, okay, maybe I can make the best out of this situation, because at least I'm not going to be bored out of my mind waiting, like, when am I going to go home? So, they get there, we're talking, all this and that, and they asked if we want to go to the bar, because they were the only people to show up to this kickback, so it wasn't really even that popping. It was just like, yeah, it was like a, I don't know, get together. I don't know. So we decided to go to this bar. So we're like, yeah, everybody's in agreement. So we getting our stuff together. All of a sudden, I look in the kitchen, and the guy that I'm there on a date with is sitting on top of his homeboy's washing machine crying. So I'm like, what is going on? I mean, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone or something. I was like, did something happen or what? So one of the girls who knew him was there, One of the girls who knew him went over by him and, was like, hey, what's wrong? Are you okay? Trying to console him because for one, I really don't even know you like that. So I'm like, yeah. So, she comes from over there. She walks up to me. She's like, he's crying because he says he really likes you. And I'm even more confused. Like, what? At this point, I'm not interested in going to the bar. I just want to go home. It's just too much. Oh my God. I still ended up going to the bar because they were like, you've been drinking a little bit. Why don't you just stay here? They was telling that to the guy that I was there. And they just wanted to get me out of the house because they knew that I was in an awkward position. I'm like, they knew that we were just on our first encounter. So they was like, let's just get her out the house and let him chill here. And kind of let his liquor wear off. But no, he wanted to go to the bar too. So I had to drive his car because he's too drunk to drive. And I followed them up to the bar. We get to the bar. He's asleep in the car. I'm trying to wake him up. I'm like, hey, hey, get up. He wouldn't wake up. He was just passed out. So I was like, he not gonna ruin my fun. I went in the bar and I left his ass in the car. I took the keys and I locked the door. Went in the bar with the girls. We had a good time. I was like, I think I met some new friends because these girls was cool. Like, we had a good time. We leave out the bar. We go back to the car. I'm thinking, okay, we've been in there for a few hours, so he has to at least be a little bit sobered up. I mean, he was only drinking wine, so I was like, you can't be that drunk. Like, it's not like you drank, like, vodka or tequila or, anything like that. He was not. He was still, like, sluggish and acting. I mean, he woke up, but he was still sluggish, acting, all of this and that. And we were in Arlington, Texas. I live in Dallas, Texas. So that's about 30-minute ride. So I'm not around the corner from my house. And I'm like, how am I going to get home? So I'm like, okay, at this point, I'm just pissed. I'm going to drive myself home. And when we get to my place, you can go on by your business. So he's drunk. He's like, okay, whatever. I start driving towards my place. And this fool's gas light come on. And when I look over at him in the passenger seat, he's passed the fuck out. Like, all the way out. And I'm like, bruh. So I was basically shaking him. I was shaking. I'm like, I'm not putting a damn dime up in this car. Trust me when I say I am not putting a rusty nickel up in this car. So I shook him, and he finally woke up. I said, I need money for gas. So this fool pulls out a $10 bill. So I'm like, shit. Well, this will get me home. I don't know where the fuck it's gonna get him, but it's gonna get me home. So I wasn't tripping. Put $10 in there, drove my ass right on home. Got to my apartment. I pulled up right where he picked me up. So I got out of the car and I'm like, goodbye. Like, see ya. So all of a sudden, I start getting these text messages like, hey, what apartment number do you live in? I'm going to come up and crash on the couch, blah, blah, blah. I ignored his ass. He kept calling. I'm like, no. Like, you need to, like, park your car in the parking lot and, like, get some rest until you are able to function. Or you need to do something because there's just no way I'm going to let you in my apartment with the shenanigans you have pulled on tonight. So the next morning, I get text messages from him. He's blowing me up. He's all like, I'm so sorry. I embarrassed myself. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm a firm believer when you're drinking, that's the person you are. Like, being sober, you have a filter. Like, you may still be this person, but you know what to disclose and what not to disclose. Like, you let it all hang out. So, yeah. Not gonna happen. Yeah, so that was pretty much it. I did not answer any of his texts, call, anything like that. A few months after that, I went to the same bar and I ran into his ass. Went into this fool and he was... when he saw me, like he saw a damn deer. It was just so hilarious. And of course, we did not speak. He was with the guy whose house they had the little kickback at. And I mean, yeah, that was just pretty much it. Like, the guy whose house had the kickback, he's adding me on all my social media, and it's just like, he's cool people. But his boy, I can't do, because he was like weird as shit. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the story about my worst date ever, which is like a grown-ass man crying. Crazy. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Like this video, subscribe, comment below if you want more crazy story times. I've lived a pretty crazy life, so I have a few stories to tell. Yeah. And I will see you guys in my next video.